Howdy folks, and welcome to Bits and Spurs Newsday. I'm Richard Southerland, and boy do we have some exciting rodeo news to cover this Tuesday, November 4th. We're talking Turquoise Circuit Finals, some incredible rides, a historic announcement from the PRCA that's got everyone talking, and a 20-year-old tie-down roper who's about to make some serious noise on the circuit. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's dive into the best of what's happening in the rodeo world. Our top story this morning takes us out to Cave Creek, Arizona, where last week the Turquoise Circuit Finals wrapped up. And folks, what a show it was. Arizona and New Mexico, let me tell you, these two states are absolute powerhouses when it comes to pro rodeo talent. We're talking about the home turf of athletes like Begay, Todd, Cabral, and Zachary. These aren't just good cowboys. These are NFR qualifiers, the best of the best, and most of them will be heading back to the Thomas and Mack Arena this December. Now, before we get into all the action from Cave Creek, I've got to share some major news that came down from the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association last week. And this is a big deal. For the first time in the National Finals Rodeo's history, and we're talking since 1959, folks, the NFR is switching to a quarter-point scoring system for roughstock events. That's right, no more half-point system. This December 4th through the 13th, when those cowboys climb aboard at the Thomas and Mack, judges will be able to score in quarter-point increments. Now, why does this matter? Well, it increases the scrutiny, raises the level of competition, and here's the kicker. It might actually help break some of those frustrating ties we've been seeing. I mean, come on, nobody wants to see incredible rides end in a tie when we're talking about crowning world champions. This is a landmark change, and I, for one, cannot wait to see how it plays out. All right, let's get back to that Turquoise Circuit Finals action in Cave Creek. We're talking about a total payout of over $241,000. And yes, that includes breakaway roping, with athletes competing not just for the Circuit Finals average title, but also for those coveted year-end championships and a shot at the NFR Open in 2026. The stakes were high, and the competition did not disappoint. Let's start with the bareback riding, because we've got a hometown hero story here. Matthew Tuni, a native Arizonan, just rode to his first Turquoise Circuit Finals average win right there in his home state. Now, this wasn't Tuni's first rodeo at the finals, literally. He finished second in the average last year, which got him his first NFR Open qualification. But this year he sealed the deal. Tuni won the first round with a 77.5 on Salt River Rodeo's horse, Windy Whiskey. He ended up winning the average by just a point and a half, taking home almost $7,400 and punching another ticket to the NFR Open. On top of that, Tuni finished as the Turquoise Circuit's year-end champion with over $12,500 in season earnings. That's what I call a successful year, folks. Now, moving over to steer wrestling, we've got Tyke Kipp from New Mexico. This cowboy's been a PRCA member for a long time, and after this season, he finished 36th in the world standings. That's top 50, and that's no easy feat. But here's what makes this special. The 2025 Turquoise Circuit Finals was Kipp's 6th appearance, but this was the first time in his career he took home that average title. He won the first round in 4.5 seconds, finished 19.2 on 3-head total, pocketed about $7,100, and earned his 4th National Circuit Finals qualification, 2nd consecutive appearance at the NFR Open. Sometimes persistence really does pay off, and Tyke Kipp is proof of that. And speaking of the steer wrestling, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that NFR qualifier Cabral took home the year-end championship. This cowboy won 4 Turquoise Circuit rodeos during the season and finished with over $17,600 in earnings. That's dominance, plain and simple. Let's talk team roping for a minute, because we've got some repeat qualifiers making it happen. Arizona Cowboys Corey Whinnery and Robert Murphy are headed to their 2nd consecutive NFR Open after winning the average with 21.9 seconds on 3-head. Now get this, this was header Whinnery's 3rd straight appearance at the Circuit Finals and heeler Murphy's 5th straight qualification. But this was their first average title together as a team. They won by less than 1 second and took home over $4,300. Talk about clutch performances under pressure. But wait, there's more in team roping. The year-end champions? That would be the superstar duo of Begay and Todd. Begay's a 12-time NFR qualifier. Todd's qualified 5 times. These guys are legends. Each of them earned over $20,000 in Turquoise Circuit rodeos this season. And here's what's exciting. Begay's heading to the NFR as the number 3 header in the world, Todd as the number 2 heeler. They're already qualified for the NFR Open, but depending on how those 10 days in Las Vegas go this December, they might just ride into the National Circuit Finals as world champions. Now, wouldn't that be something? Before we continue with more results, folks, I want to tell you about something exciting. It's almost that time of year again, but this time you can get all your favorite products from custom Western boutiques and local vendors across your rodeo network all in one place. LoveMyHorse.com. Whether you're shopping for the perfect holiday gifts, upgrading your tack, or just treating yourself to some quality Western wear, LoveMyHorse.com brings together the best vendors in the rodeo world right to your fingertips. Check them out at LoveMyHorse.com, supporting the vendors who support our rodeo community. All right, let's get back to Cave Creek. Saddle bronc riding gave us some stellar performances, and New Mexico native Zachary Dallas, a 2-time NFR qualifier, just proved why he's one of the best. Dallas rode to his 2nd Turquoise Circuit Finals average title. Last year he won it, and this year he came back and did it again, winning 2 rounds in the process. His round 2 ride, 82.5 on Salt River Rodeo's horse Sweetness. And then in round 3, he matched it. Another 82.5 to clinch the average, 242 points on 3 head, over $8,700 in winnings, and another NFR Open qualification. Dallas is currently ranked 7th in the world standings, and now he's got his sights set on both a world title and a National Circuit Finals championship. That's the kind of ambition that makes champions, folks. The Saddle Bronc year-end champ was Ross Griffin, another New Mexico cowboy who finished 35th in the world standings and won over $10,000 at Turquoise Circuit rodeos. Griffin's heading to the NFR Open hunting for his first Open win, and I've got a feeling he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. Now let's talk about a young gun who's absolutely on fire. Pecos Tatum, a 20-year-old tie-down roper from New Mexico, just put on a clinic at the Turquoise Circuit Finals. This kid won 2 of the 3 rounds. Round 1 in 8.6 seconds. Finished 2nd in round 2 by just 0.3 of a second, then came back and won round 3 in 8.5 seconds. 25.4 on 3 head for his first Turquoise Circuit Finals average championship and an NFR Open qualification. But here's what really impressive. Tatum also took home the year-end championship with nearly $16,000 in season earnings, and he finished 29th in the world standings. At 20 years old, this young man has a bright future ahead of him, and mark my words, we're going to be hearing the name Pecos Tatum for years to come. In barrel racing, Katelyn Scott put on an absolutely dominant performance. And when I say dominant, I mean perfect. Scott won all 3 rounds at the circuit finals. Round 1, 15.35. Round 2, 15.52. Round 3, 15.52 again. 3 perfectly consistent runs totaling 46.39 for the average win. She took home almost $10,000, the most of any competitor at the finals, and punched her ticket to the NFR Open. That's how you show up when it matters, folks. Now, the bull riding, oh boy, the bull riding. Sometimes the bulls remind us who's really boss. And at the Turquoise Circuit Finals, not a single cowboy rode all 3 head. It came down to a photo finish for the average, and in the end, Robbie Taylor was 165 points on 2 head, just 1 point ahead of 2nd place. Taylor won the 3rd round, covering Salt River Rodeo's bull Crawfish for 88 points, the highest marked ride of the entire finals. He pocketed about $5,500 and earned that NFR Open qualification. That 2nd place cowboy who finished just 1 point behind, that was Arizona's Katelyn Reynolds. And while missing the average title by 1 point has got to sting a little, Reynolds still has plenty to celebrate. He was named the year-end champion after totaling over $24,000 for the season. Reynolds won the 2023 Circuit Finals average and appeared at his first NFR Open. And thanks to his stellar season, we'll see him at the Open again in 2026. Sometimes being consistent all season long is just as important as winning on finals day. And I can't wrap up without mentioning breakaway roping. Justine Doka from Fountain Hills, Arizona placed in all 3 rounds and won the average, taking home over $6,300 and earning her spot at the NFR Open. The breakaway ropers continue to bring incredible skill and excitement to these events, and Doka proved she belongs among the best. Folks, the Turquoise Circuit Finals showed us once again why Arizona and New Mexico produce some of the finest rodeo athletes in the world. From first-time average winners to seasoned champions, from 20-year-old phenoms to veterans still at the top of their game, this is what rodeo is all about. Hard work, determination, and that never-quit attitude that defines the Western way of life. As we look ahead, the 2025 National Finals Rodeo is coming up fast, December 4th through the 13th in Las Vegas. We'll be watching to see how many of these Turquoise Circuit champions make their mark on the biggest stage in rodeo, especially with that new quarter-point scoring system in play. And then next summer, we've got the 2026 NFR Open, where all these circuit champions will get their shot at glory. That's going to do it for today's Bits and Spurs Newsday. I'm Richard Southerland, and I want to thank you for spending part of your Tuesday morning with me. Keep supporting rodeo, keep supporting these incredible athletes, and don't forget to visit the link in the description to get news alerts sent directly to your phone so you never miss a moment of rodeo action. Until next time, folks, keep your boots dusty and your spirits high. We'll see you down the road.